Hello to our audience. You're tuned into our webinar with Shipdex, how Shipdex can make it easier to set up a maintenance management system. Joining us today are guest speakers Marco Vattaroni, Shipdex Consulting Director and Shipdex Secretary General, Captain Eugene Adami, Mastermind Ship Management CEO and Shipdex Chairman, and Henrik Dan Kaspersen, leader of the MAN ES Shipdex Competence Center and Shipdex Executive Member. If you have any questions, do leave them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. We'll answer them after the presentation. Please feel free to upvote if you wish. Here's Matt Stevens, editor of Digital Ship, to explain more. Take it away, Matt.
Thanks, Farah. In recent years, the maritime industry has struggled with integrating maintenance plans into management systems due to a reliance on PDFs. Shipdex offers a solution by providing a standardized electronic format that allows automatic incorporation into different systems. Today, we will explore how Shipdex addresses some of the key challenges in maritime maintenance, making it more efficient, data-driven, and cost-effective. Our first speaker is Marco Vattaroni, who is based in Italy. Marco is the Shipdex Consulting Director and Security General. He will update us on Shipdex, including its expansion to support feedback from shipping companies to equipment manufacturers, improving maintenance plans and overall equipment performance. Our second speaker will be Captain Eugene Adami, CEO at Mastermind Ship Management and Chairman of Shipdex. Mastermind Ship Management manages a fleet of vessels which consists of multi-purpose break bulk vessels, dry bulk vessels, and cement carriers. Captain Adami will speak on the commercial benefits of Shipdex and how adopting this standard can improve operational efficiency. Our final speaker is Henrik Dan Kaspersen, leader of the MAN ES Shipdex Competence Center and Shipdex Executive Member. Speaking from Copenhagen, Henrik will focus on how Shipdex simplifies engine maintenance and the direct advantages it offers to ship operators and manufacturers. Today's session will be divided into 3 10-minute presentations, followed by audience questions during a Q&A session. Please post your questions in the chat bar. So let's begin. I'll pass over to Marco Vattaroni now.
Thank you, Matt, for your very nice introduction. Thank you very much to all the participants, and I'm very happy to be here to talk again about the Shipdex. I think, or I hope, that most of you already knows what is a Shipdex. But I think it is very important to take this opportunity to do a very quick recap and to introduce what we have new in Shipdex. For this, I'm going to share my screen because I have a short presentation. I will try to go very, very quick. Now you should see my presentation, Shipdex, the Marine and Maritime Data Exchange Protocol. First, very important topic is Shipdex is a non-profit organization, and we have 5 executive members. Very important, MIN, Yanmar, Mastermind Ship Management, who is our chairman, GNC Shipping is a consultant, and my consulting company, I'm Secretary General Technical Manager. Shipdex protocol is composed of 2 specifications that are our customization of 2 very important international aerospace and defense specifications. The first one is S1000E, that is a specification for technical publication, and 5000F for in-service data feedback. We have customized S1000E, creating the Shipdex D for technical documentation, and 5000F, we have created Shipdex F. Shipdex F at the moment just implement data feedback related to the maintenance task performed on board every kind of ship. So why we have developed the Shipdex protocol? Because our scope, our aim is to boost the digitalization in marine and maritime community, with the final scope to improve the whole ship life cycle management. Why? Today, technical manuals, technical data are provided to customers using PDF, Excel, paper, XML, any kind of possible other electronic format, but every format is proprietary. And many times, almost, I would like always, customers have to retype the information to their ERP or maintenance system. Retyping the information means a lot of time, but most important, possibility to introduce a lot of mistakes. This is just digitization. The same feedback, data feedback. It happened now, it's been performed sending PDF, Excel, paper, documents. Once again, this is data digitization. With Shipdex, all the data, technical data, are standardized in a mandatory structured format and can be exchanged among all the makers and all the customers. Customer can import the data using simple interfaces into ERP, maintenance system, any other IT system, spending minutes instead of weeks, months, and most important, in my opinion, avoiding mistake. This is really digitalization. Again, feedback. Using Shipdex F, data can be sent from customer to relevance maker in a well-structured, mandatory electronic format. Once again, this is digitalization. A summary. With Shipdex D, it is possible to provide for any kind of equipment product, drawings, breakdown, how to operate and to maintain the product, service letter or bulletin to update automatically all the information that's been already provided in Shipdex format. On the other side, customers can provide information in using Shipdex F about product failures, maintenance task performed, and resources used, spare part, consumable, which personnel, and so on. This information, Shipdex F and Shipdex D, can be connected and hopefully stored into a database that we call knowledge repository or common source database. Information from this knowledge repository can be exchanged with suppliers, from suppliers to customer and vice versa, to create a very virtuous loop of information, again, to improve the whole life cycle management. This is our vision for the very next future. We are looking for partners, of course, and also for funding opportunity, because we are a non-profit organization, to start and to perform this project. The upper part is already available with what we have already. The idea is to develop some artificial intelligence algorithm to select and extract relevant information from the knowledge repository, to move this data into an integrated green vessel digital twin database that will be improved with sensor data coming directly from every ship, importing 3D model from some partner we have already identified, or using also some tools for simulation, and also producing computer-based training in accordance with the SCORM methodology that gives the possibility to reuse Shipdex D data to create CBTs, improving the CBTs with multimedia, tests, and so on. So this is our project for the future, next future. We are looking for partner. Now, I'm closing my presentation. This is what we have now, the standard Shipdex protocol. Data are exchanged using a database that we call CSDB, Common Source Database Knowledge Repository. we have developed a proof of concept to show how it is powerful to merge Shipdex D and Shipdex F information. And for this, we have implemented our Shipdex viewer in the version 4.0. I will show you at the end of the webinar after Henrik's presentation. Shipdex viewer is always available free of charge on our Shipdex website, on the home page or shipdex.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marco, for getting us started. And Captain Adami, it is now your time to speak. Captain.
Your microphone, Captain, your microphone.
There you go. And yeah, there you go, your camera.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mats. It's great to speak to Digital Ship and the distinguished audience regarding our Shipdex standard. Always great to be in touch with you guys. And thank you very much for all of the guys from abroad and all over this globe to tune in. I wanted to give a brief rundown on the current status of our marine and maritime industry, what is happening in our blue cluster at the very moment. And I have prepared 4 topics. The one is the digital transformation within our stakeholders. What does it really mean? And how are companies performing this? And what do we want to achieve? Digital transformation, in our opinion, means that we take manual processes, which we do in the company, and we translate them into a digital process and automate them to a certain extent in order to gain maximum efficiency. That actually means we have to transform, we have to change things which we do in the company by people, and we let data to perform these kind of tasks. It is a paramount decision in the boardroom. If you want to embark on such a transformation, on such a digital transformation, that this is based on the footage of correct and integer data. The data needs to be across the manufacturers, the shipyards, the ship owners, the ship managers, and to the industrial partners, as you will hear at a later stage. Important to be correct. Correct data we can only have in our systems when we take the data from the original manufacturers. Only then we can ensure that the data is compliant and aligned with the actual equipment installed on our vessels. Therefore, reliable data exchange will foster at a later stage in the digital transformation the seamless integration of the different management systems. Companies may decide to go for new modules within their existing maintenance systems, and they have to move the data across from the one system to another system. Maybe they want to introduce an application so that seafarers on board or satellite offices can work on the same core data. So these data needs seamlessly to move across the organization, and that can only be done to the full extent of correctness when you take data from the manufacturer. Every transaction leading to a digital transformation has to be, in the first place, digitally correct. And Shipdex is actually standardizing this technical documentation in such a way that it allows you to negotiate with your data across borders. So without Shipdex, a proper digital transformation is difficult, in my opinion. The industry also, after COVID, is moving towards remote surveys. What has become in the past the impossible, i.e., to have somebody from outside of the vessel looking at photos and giving then a competent statement that a ship may proceed the voyage or may not proceed the voyage, was inconceivable. COVID made the big change. COVID made, within a very few weeks, the world to connect in a different way. And we introduced ever more powerful technology to bring also the vessels online, our assets in the oceans. Starlink came afterwards, just as an example. Inmarsat improved their connectivity. The VSAT providers, KVH, and all the other digital communication providers have significantly improved connectivity. And that opened the door to more powerful remote surveys, to that extent that the remote surveys are slowly becoming a new industry norm. And we realized that a structured remote survey backed up with the proper maintenance procedures, the proper digital documentation of the equipment, drawings, 3D presentations, help a surveyor from a competent authority, a recognized organization, a port authority, or in the case where we have more severe situations involved and insurance companies are involved, we have the insurance surveyors and so on. So if we marry a remote survey with a proper digital data documentation, the remote survey will pass flawless and it will result into a certification which the vessel can greatly benefit from. So remote surveys and technical documentation today go hand in hand, and tomorrow I believe it will be the norm that we will support our remote surveys with also the proper data exchange of that specific equipment which is being surveyed. And my third item I would like to bring to your attention is the ever-tightening emission regulation, the big white elephant in the room. EU and IMO and the rest of the world are looking at charging the shipping industry, ship owners, cargo owners with an amount of money in relation to their emissions. And in parallel, there is a mandate to reduce the emissions. So we have to become carbon neutral. And carbon neutrality can only come when gradually every vessel which has a combustion engine removes the CO2 as much as possible from the combustion process. That means the existing technology on board of the vessel must change. And every year, a certain step must be done by the ship owner to be in compliance with the carbon intensity index, the CII index, and there is future regulation in the pipeline within the IMO and within the European Union, which will make the shipping industry to adopt lesser emissions. How can we do that when we do not really have the existing digital information of our equipment on board of the vessel? When we don't have the possibility to compare what we have with equipment which is offered to us at a lower CO2 footprint? How can we interconnect these systems? How do we know if that equipment will fit inside the vessel? How do we know what is a pipe connection, what is the electrical connection, when we do not have in the first place the digital information of the equipment which is on board of our vessels? So we cannot build a digital twin to simulate how I will perform if I make these and these and these and these changes when I don't have the genuine first version of the vessel properly in electronic format. So a digital twin and a digital supported educated research on how to improve the efficiency of my engines, of my operations, of my overall performance is not possible without structured and proper data as provided by the manufacturer. So there is a requirement now from more and more ship owners towards manufacturers where this information is requested. And Shipdex has the solution to this. My last topic is the ever increasingly accountability for ships towards damages, pollutions, and recently even underwater installations. It is unfortunately common knowledge that it is easy to see the ship inside the port, and is also easy to for authorities to hold this vessel accountable. We just stop the vessel, and the vessel sits there, and the investigation is happening. When we talk about pollution and damages, so once the authorities are involved and it is alleged a vessel is involved in such a situation, the vessel has to prove that it is innocent. The ship management company, the ship owner, they have to prove that they have exercised due diligence, that their processes were in line with industry standards, that the vessel has been absolutely beyond any doubt seaworthy to do the passage. How to do that in the future? How to do that when we build the database for our maintenances in such a manner that we take an instruction booklet and we key in the information from the instruction booklet into our maintenance procedures, and we introduce mistakes, omissions, or the data is not complete. Very difficult. So our experience is that when a vessel is involved in a big case, and we have unfortunately accidents and incidents in our industry, the way how you present that you have done everything right will either get you convicted or off the hook. So it is recommended to base the maintenance on board on the correct data as given by the manufacturers when the equipment is being purchased and installed. So it is ultimately for surveyors who will held or authorities who will hold vessels accountable, a more easy task to let the vessel go when they can understand what really has happened and what are the tools the ship master, the chief engineer, had in their hands when operating the vessel. What are the tools the ship owning, ship management company had on hands when the vessel commenced the voyage? How was the monitoring done? If this is flawless, the vessel will be regarded differently by the authorities, surveyors, than when you have nothing to explain. These 4 topics, which I have now presented to you, were the topics I have heard from the various Shipdex council meetings, which we had in the past. The Shipdex council is comprising out of blue economy stakeholders, not only the companies Marco showed, which are the founding members and the current holders of the standard. No, there are many companies and authorities in our council, and these current thoughts, they roam around the 4 topics I have presented. The white elephant in the room is we have to decarbonize, we have to be held accountable, we have to make digital transformations, and we cannot continue with on-site surveys. So it has to be remotely, and better connectivity will even enhance that with video footage, etc., etc. So at the end of the day, it boils down to the correctness of data. And since that has now already been identified also by the aviation industry and by the defense industry, that such a technical, electronical, documented standard is required, it has been provided. S1000D, S5000F exist widely. So Shipdex is the milder version of the big aerospace and defense standard. It's easily to be adaptable and it's doable. So we have now suppliers in China who are able to provide Shipdex data at ever-growing numbers. And therefore, we are ready to build digital twins and to do the transformation as Marco has shown in his presentation. And on that account, I will pass on the torch to Matt.
Thank you, Captain Adami. And now I'd like to invite Henrik to deliver his presentation.
Yes, thank you very much. So I hope the screen shows correctly now. So thank you very much, and I would like to pass on a few messages to the audience and explain the Shipdex from the operational perspective of an original equipment maker. So first of all, we would like to make the ship owner's life easier. And in our case, the ship owner has bought an advanced two-stroke engine from Man Indie Solutions. And together with that, we want to honor the situation by delivering a free of charge digital product so you can feed your plant maintenance system in a digital way, so nicely explained by Captain Adami just a few minutes before. So what you will get is the native data from the OEM. No need to interpret or to re-engineer the information. And that means when you have the native information in your system, it is also much easier to communicate directly with the equipment maker. It will save time and effort, of course, to feed your plant maintenance system because it comes ready-made in electronic format. It will reduce risk of errors because there is no re-engineering. It will increase uniformity because it comes out of a system, public system governed by rules. And as we also heard, it will pave the way for further digitalization, further integration, and further cooperation between the stakeholders. So traditionally, the equipment makers have delivered paper or unstructured format as a PDF format to the ship owners, who then put good people to work to capture and redigitize the context into the PMS database. And to ease this up, we have seen many variants of Excel files and copy reuse of data. But the PMS system and the whole software suite on owner side has evolved tremendously and now have strong electronic data interfaces, EDI, to connect to external sources. And on the OEM side, to the left, we see the same evolvement. So now there are many more cases where the OEM is able to deliver also using an electronic digital interface. So in this case, we just need a common language. And Shipdex is exactly this common standardized language to transport the information from OEM to the plant maintenance system. So you can say it's a little bit like Amazon for shipping, that the OEM knows that all the product information will end up in the owner's plant maintenance system in a standardized ways. And on the ship owner side, there would be an opportunity to free up capacity for other value-adding tasks. And that could be something which we heard about, regional or global regulations, which require more and more attention on ship owner side. So this need for standardization was in fact identified more than 40 years ago in the military and aviation industry. And some years back, the Shipdex organization was established to boil down this comprehensive S1000D standard to something which we could manage in the merchant fleet. And that gave us this non-proprietary standard, the Shipdex protocol. To deliver to the standard, we as an OEM and other OEMs has a one-time task, and that is to correlate our product structure, which you can see to the left, to the technical documentation, which you can see in the upper right. And for this, we use standard tables to assign the values to the product itself, which you can see here. There are some standard numbering, meaning the engine for propulsion. There are other numbers for turbocharger or hatches or winches. And we will also give values to the breakdown structure in main assemblies and down to the sub-assembly level, in this case, a fuel valve. And in the same way, we will identify in the technical documentation the maintenance plan, the task descriptions, and the maintenance resources. And these we will also assign this standard code for what kind of information do we deliver. So 941 is the maintenance resources, and these numbers are then different kinds of activities. That could be a visual inspection, a pressure test, or an overhaul. And when we then bring the technical documentation down to these modules and we do the publication, then we do no longer produce or deliver PDF file. Now we deliver technical information in an XML format, which is ready to be handled by this EDI on the PMS side. So we exchange electronic information. The dataset itself will have a lot of self-contained modules, one module for each maintenance task description, one module for the each set of maintenance resources. And this information can now be used as data with all these strong features which you have in your PMS system and in your software suite on ship owner side. Each of these modules are then named, the files are named according to this breakdown structure and the information code, and delivered in the standardized package, which is ready for the receiving system to understand on the ship owner side. And in addition to the dataset of XML data modules, we also deliver a simple Excel file which tells this EDI, the interface on the ship owner side, how to build up the product structure. So we see here a standard number for cylinder cover, these numbers mentioned here. And we are also able to tell the database that there are 6 instances of the cylinder cover installed on the engine. And that means that each individual component can then be maintained and tracked individually. We can also see in this Excel file that on this same number where we have the cylinder cover, we have different kind of activities, which we saw before in the breakdown structure, that you can have different kind of maintenance activities and a module for the maintenance resources. So all in all, this will deliver everything that the PMS needs to know, the technical information and the structure of the product. And that is exactly what replaces all this traditional manual work which we have seen on the ship owner side. The table of content also has another strong feature because it gives a flexibility to change this functional code which indicates the structure of the vessel and on the product. Maybe some of you can easily identify 601, which normally means the main engine according to the SFI code, and then the codes which we showed just before, the breakdown structure of the product. If you don't wish to use this number, which is just a working solution if you have nothing else, then it is easily possible to replace this column with the corporate standard, so you get the numbers which you are used to in your system. Another feature is that the number of rows control how many tasks will be launched on board the vessel. And if you have another operation profile or another experience, then you can say, I don't want to launch 6 jobs for the starting valve. I only want to launch 1 job and then overhaul them all in one go. Then you can manipulate the Excel file in that way. And if there is a job which is only launched 1 time, but you don't have time to execute the whole job, maybe tightening a lot of bolts, for instance, then you can split it up in 2 jobs and then execute it when it is possible for the crew on board. So in summary, I would like to send these messages. As ship owner, you are entitled to free of charge datasets. Please make sure that you have our service letter number 761 in your files, and consider Shipdex in your makers list for new building contracts. Exactly as Captain Adami mentioned, more and more makers are coming on board, but a good way to put focus on Shipdex is to have it already in the ordering situation as part of the makers list. If you are an IT company, you're also entitled to free of charge datasets so you can do a feasibility study on your electronic data interface. And in the best situation, we will do it all 3 parties together, so we all have a common view on the benefits and the way forward. And you can always contact me at these email addresses to start such a study. So my final words would be that the standard brings us together, and together we can do great things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Henrik. And it is now time for the Q&A session. So if speakers could turn on their...
Sorry. Can you give me 5 minutes to show our proof of concept that show what Henrik said in a very technical way? I will show you everybody.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I will try to spend no more than 5 minutes. I'm sharing now my screen. I will run the Shipdex viewer that everybody can download from. Oh my God! Can download from our home page. Okay. The Shipdex viewer 4.0 is our browser to navigate through the Shipdex data. When you run the system, you will see here a number of data. You can select the data set you have in your network. In this case, we are using the MAN dataset, demo dataset. You can see here on the left the table of content with here we can have description and operation of this product, catalogs, For example, as Henrik showed, here we have the catalogs. But we don't have a lot of time, so I would like to go directly to the maintenance task. Here you can see a number of maintenance tasks with the standard information that are always periodicity required to support equipment, supplies, spare part, and so on. Here you can see that some tasks have a yellow sign. This means that this maintenance task, for this maintenance task, we have a feedback. For example, this task, general maintenance, we go here. I have imported using a simple Excel file data that I have typed in, but that usually a maintenance task system can export from their database and put into this Excel file. Here, I have imported this file, and now I want to see which maintenance task will be, how many this maintenance task is being performed. Here you see the item name. I hope you can read what here. This turbo propeller, here we have two serial numbers, serial number 1 and serial number 5. Why? Because here we have two different ships with this equipment, the ship number 24 and the ship number 25. The general maintenance task has been performed on 19 July and 6 August on the ship 24, and on 20 September, and then on 30 September on ship 25. Here we have the counter, how many working hours due when the maintenance task was performed. 20,500 one working hour and 8,009. So here we have a number of information from two different ships, from two different ship owners. For a maker, this could be a repository, again, where all the information can be stored. And for the customer, this could be the repository for his fleet. Now, we can also give a look at the work order that I have imported here. Here we have a number of work orders. Execution time, we have the on which ship, from which ship the work order are coming. For example, we can give a look to this one. With this work order, 3 maintenance tasks have been performed. For example, other check. For this other check, this spare part has been used. This two consumables has been used. The data are not correct because I invented this data, and a mechanic worked for 4 hours. And they used for support equipment. We have also the possibility to attach to every maintenance task performed any kind of attachment, multimedia. For example, here we can give a look a picture. This is, again, something that is not real, but it's a picture coming from MIN. So from the maintenance plans can export the data, and the data can be used in the Shipdex viewer, but in the future in better database. We have also another big possibility, then I close, the possibility to select one or more work orders and convert this work order into a Shipdex F message in XML. Till this moment, nobody had the possibility, the need to understand what is XML. So, closing my presentation, we have created this, and this is the XML message containing all the information related to the maintenance task performed with that work order, and this message can be exchanged with any kind of organization that is a Shipdex compliant. This is the standardization. Nobody needs to know the XML structure because, for example, our viewer can convert it into XML. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marco. If the speakers could, if you could turn your cameras on and your microphones on, I'll now ask a few questions that have come through. So the first one, I'll ask Captain Adami. This is from Zaviko Zavrifov, who is a senior technical manager at Old Endorf Carriers. With which fleet management system do you have contracts, and what fleet management systems are ready to import Shipdex data?
Yeah, that is a very good question. We are working with what is called SpecTech, and we use the AMO system, and that system is fully Shipdex compliant. However, we have made in the mastermind group a deep review of existing plant maintenance systems in the world available today. And our understanding is that every supplier of plant maintenance systems is able to do it if there is a sufficient strong request from the company.
Can I add just one thing to clarify? I'm sorry, Captain, because I read the questions. I want to clarify that contracts are not signed by Shipdex. Every time the contracts are from maker, customers, supplier, and customer. Shipdex just provide a protocol, all the necessary support, but the relationship is always between makers, providers, and the customer. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sure.
the key question is if Shipdex data is available and the ship manager, ship owner is using a plant maintenance system, is this plant maintenance system able to read the Shipdex data?
Sure. Okay. And our next question is from Dmitry Fomichev, who is a operational and IT manager at Trust Ship Management. His question is, which kind of training is required for a person responsible for PMS who updates maintenance plans on a company level? Perhaps, yeah, Hendrik, if you can answer this.
Yes, I've been in contact with many people in exactly that situation. And that is also why I suggested this three-party setup, because it does not require very much to understand what needs to be done on IT side, because the EDI are already so advanced and the people working with the software are so skilled, and what they already now do for the ship owners by far surpasses the requirements to implement this small mapping between an XML file and the database fields today. So it's an easy task, and you can go to the website and download the protocol, which is available free of charge in one version. And as soon as you have understood that and maybe have had a few meetings, then everything is normally quite clear.
And in any case, Shipdex Consulting can give a support, marketing.
Brilliant. Okay, and the next question is from Dr. Ing, who is CEO at Professional Business Solutions. The Shipdex protocol is not widely known to other communities of interest apart from the shipping one. Are there plans to make the standard known to other communities of interest like UAV, DDS, FACE, aviation, etc.? Who would like to answer this question?
I personally know Fru. Ciao, Fru. How are you? It is not simple to convince companies to invest money, and this is for this reason we are looking for partners, because we have in mind the big project I showed you before, and we cannot do by ourselves. We are a non-profit, And maybe Capitan Adami or Eric can add something to my words.
Yeah, of course, it is the vision that a standardization for electronic documents is done not only in the shipping industry, but in other industries as well. I believe it is already done. And we see now that Chinese manufacturers approach us to learn about the standards and to volunteer to deliver a Shipdex data. So it is happening now. How it goes into other industries depend, of course, on the other industries. But Shipdex is part of the S1000D community. Actually, we are the commercial shipping branch of S1000D, if you may understand it in this way. So already other industries are using basically the same structure. And it is not too complicated once you get involved, as Henrik said, how to use it. And if you only look at the viewer version 4.0 by itself, this viewer, together with the Shipdex data which you get from the equipment manufacturer, is already a very, very powerful tool. So you don't even need a PMS provider to make the decision whether it is easy or not. You can do it basically with your own IT people in the office once you download this viewer 4.0, and then you can understand the power of the protocol.
Just a small observation. In the maritime market, we are quite unique because there was no standard before. So Shipdex offers the only standard, which is widely applicable. On the contrary, on shore, we have CE marking for as one example, which means there are already a lot of regulations and standards and substandards. But I would say under the Shipdex umbrella, we have the chance to set down a Shipdex protocol maintenance group, which can work, or a work group which can work in the direction of trying to implement it in other areas. That is a possibility we can offer in the organization. Thank you.
Okay. And the next question from Miles Friori, who is a manager at Isilnord. What is the effort, OEM side and ship owner side, to implement such standard?
I can speak for the OEM side. As I said before, the OEMs in general are becoming more and more digitalized as well. So electronic data interface is also part of our world more and more. And many makers are already working in the maritime or aviation market. So they're already up to the mark with S1000D standard. So for them, it is a very, very small task to set the set of business rules which will then deliver Shipdex, since it is a subset of the big standard.
Isilnord is a Shipdex partner. They are supporting us in developing, for example, the Shipdex viewer, and Isilnord is very, very introduced, is working a lot in the S1000D environment. So they know very well and what is a Shipdex and cooperates with us.
Brilliant. Okay. And we have another question from Peter Fa, who is Managing Director at MESPAS AG. Is it available for all MAN two-stroke engines, pictures of parts and product?
According to the service letter, we offer a free data set for new buildings. But we are very willing to talk to you if we are talking about vessels already in service. We can do something, but let us get in touch directly.
Okay. And another question from Zivaryov Zaforov. If maintenance tasks is automatically create in a PMS, how the spare parts required will be connected to it, only in text, i.e. description or connection between different entities within the PMS system.
Okay.
Henrik, you are a
Yes.
provider.
Yes, I'm just one provider. There are many, and we can do it differently. That depends on what data do you have available, to which quality, and what is the way that you have put together your business model. So within the standard, there are options, possibilities. So, but one use case is that you have a maintenance task, and it is a quite big task, and maybe a maintenance kit exists for that. So you have all the required spares put together in one assembly. So that can be referenced inside the procedural data module, which is called, or inside the task, and you will see it when the task is launched in your plant maintenance system. And it is the data structure is up to a level 4, means that things are interlinked, so it's not just a plain text. Things are really linked together in this database.
Thank you. And I have a question of my own as well. What do you think the main barriers are to Shipdex adoption, and how do you overcome this?
In my opinion, the big obstacle is a cultural change, a vision that we cannot continue to manage paper, to manage PDF, because, as I said on the beginning, they are digitization. Everybody, I'm attending a lot of conferences, and everybody talks about digitalization. Shipdex is really digitalization. Information are not text that you have to retype many, many times. Shipdex is information. With Shipdex, we move from pages of information to information well structured in a mandatory format, XML.
I think one of the barriers are the comfort zones of the stakeholders. We all are comfortable with what we are doing. And we have achieved with great efforts in the shipping companies, our technical systems, our electronic systems, our communication systems, our office structure, and we are proud of this. And now comes somebody and says, well, do something else, use this one, and you are better. So there is a natural resistance, of course. And this is one of the barriers which we realize is there. Another barrier is that you need the PMS supplier to embrace the data structure and the data itself, because they are the ones who are making these data usable in their systems. So there is, of course, a business model to provide data sets and to make PDFs into databases. So there is a business model for this one. Shipdex, to a certain extent, is maybe making this business model obsolete. But we have to understand that today the requirement is data integrity and data completeness. So we need all the data. And all the data can only be in a proper system when it comes from the maker, where the maker also ensures that all the O-rings, all the little screws, all the little instructions, all the cautions, all the warnings, everything which was there when the manufacturer designed the engine is also into consideration during the life cycle of the engine, and not just bits and pieces of it. So I think the main barriers are the understanding and the willingness to really transform. Once this is there, then there shouldn't be a problem anymore, because nowadays the equipment manufacturers are able to provide Shipdex data. They understand it. For some equipment manufacturers, it's a big help. It organizes the way how especially smaller manufacturers, how they build their own design house, how they move from one model to another, what we can take from the smaller version to a larger version. And you can design your products better when you have a solid, organized technical structure of the equipment, a proper breakdown and so on. So the principle that we reuse the data instead of entering the data again and again across the industries, as I mentioned, shipyards, manufacturers, ship owners, that is the big help. So to my humble opinion, the biggest barrier is the willingness to change.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, I think that's a good place to leave the webinar. Thank you for your time, gentlemen, and apologies if we didn't get around to everyone's questions, but there were quite a few. And yeah, hand over to Farah to end the webinar.
Okay, thank you.
Many thanks to our guest speakers, Marco Vattaroni, Captain Eugene Adami, and Henrik Dan Kaspersen. If you have any more questions, we'll be sending you contact details soon, along with a link to a recording of today, which you can find on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to fill in our survey, which will appear shortly on your screen. Join us for our next webinar this Thursday, 13th of February, with weather news. Book your tickets on our website, and we'll see you there. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.